Hi again, everybody. My name is Greg Anderson, and this is the Good Timekeeping Show with Greg Anderson. So here's my Casio Duro watch. I got this on sale, a clearance price, great deal at Walmart about 2 years ago. And, I wear it off and on. I got a lot of watches. So I wore this just a few days ago and then put it down, and about a day and a half later noticed it stopped. Secondhand has stopped. So I guess it's time for a new battery on this. And actually, I haven't changed the battery on this one. I can't remember how long they said the battery's supposed to last, but obviously it's been 2 years in my possession. And since it was already marked for clearance when I bought it, I'm going to guess it was probably already in there at least a year. So we'll just see. So anyway, here's what you need to do. You need to unscrew this back, the whole case back. It's threaded. You just screw that off like that. And you can use a big tool like this and, align these little pins with these indentations on the outer edge of this case back. Or, sometimes it's simpler to just use this one that only has 2 pins on it. So I'm going to try this one and just gently get this thing opened up. So all you need to do is align the pins in these little notches here. And, get a snug fit there, and then you can kind of tighten this one down like this so it stays in position. Okay, so it looks like a pretty good fit there, left to right. And then all you have to do is just gently turn this. Let's see. There we go. All right. I thought it was loose enough to just do by hand, but not quite. So I'll continue to use the tool. Okay, I think I can spin that off now just with my fingers. Okay. And I always use the same excuse if I look a little bit awkward doing this. It's because I'm trying to accommodate the camera angle rather than what might be the easiest thing for me to do if I didn't want to show this. All right, so what I have here, okay, that's a nice case back, no problem there. There's a little bit of a rubber O-ring gasket around there. I want to make sure that that remains in place, or if I do have to move it, that it comes off. One thing I thought I might want to do just before I get too deep into this is I'm going to unscrew this crown and pull it out 2 clicks. And this is the normal position you would have to stop the watch. So I'm going to leave it in that stopped position for when I put the new battery in. And, this tiny little battery here is all that it uses. You can cross-reference this, but it looks like it's the SR626SW, or also sometimes sold as battery number 377. Just that tiny little battery. That's all I need to do is get in here and replace that. So there's this cover here, and I can gently lift this out. I'm trying not to force anything here, but if I can just get this out and expose the movement itself. All right, it was acting like it was on there kind of tight, but again, it just comes right off. And you can see, sometimes it's disappointing to see there's not much to it in there. Look at how big that case is, and just that tiny little movement inside there. A lot of people say you want to be very careful. Don't touch that coil there, that copper-looking coil. But all I want to do is get that battery out, and it looks like there's kind of a little bit of a latch there that holds it into place. So if I can kind of just gently, I'm just trying to be really gentle in here because I haven't actually opened up one of these quite yet. So see if this sewing pin will allow me to kind of gently coax this battery out of position just a little bit. All right. Okay. I think I did that without forcing these things over here. That kind of holds the battery down. There's a little lip maybe right about there. It looks like it holds the battery down. So I think I did a reasonable job of helping that battery out without doing anything that might, disturb the other pieces. And when this battery popped out a moment ago, it kind of flew across the table. Luckily, it didn't go all the way off the table. But I don't need this battery anymore. But this kind of underscores the idea that sometimes you'll find little tiny pieces in here, and you don't want them to get lost anywhere. This watch, relatively simple, but some of my other G-Shocks, there might be little springs and just little things that could fly out, and you don't want to lose those. So I like to use microfiber cloth like this to try and catch any pieces that might fly away, and just kind of make sure that the area I'm using, even the area that's outside the frame here, is a place where if something were to fall into that area, I could easily retrieve it. So I think I'm in good shape here. I'm going to go ahead and open up this package. Again, this is really one of the more simple watch battery replacements that you can do. And also, some people might say, oh, you're going to get oil from your fingertips in there and it's going to ruin things. I don't know. I've done this sort of thing a lot in other watches and I haven't had a problem so far. Just make sure I washed my hands before I started, and don't let them get too sweaty before I'm done. So this is going to be kind of a delicate thing. I want to coax this battery back into place without bending the little tabs that are going to hold it secure when it's in there. So let's take a look and see if I can do that and make it look not too awkward on camera. All right, so off camera, I got it pretty close to where it needed to be, kind of tucked it under this edge over here. And now I think if I just am able to press this down, it'll snap into place. Okay, there I go. There, I've got it the way I want it. Now, I've not, through this whole process, moved this O-ring at all, so I think I'll just leave it alone as is. All I'm going to do is place this, and you can only put this on one way because it has that notch right there that lines up with that pin coming to the crown. So we're all good to go there. And now all I need to do is gently align this and get the threads going again and tighten this case back on. Again, I don't think it needs to be super snug. It does have the O-ring there to help it out. So, okay, that's about as far as I can get with my fingers. Let's give it just a little bit of help with this tool here. Again, I'm going to line up those pins with the notches there and then just kind of gently rotate this way. And, that's probably pretty close to the way it was before. It looks like, it's not perfectly lined up. It's a little bit, it's not level. But you know what? I'm going to say it's good enough because I'm not going to look at the back of this watch anyway. So, okay, moment of truth now is to push this crown in, at least one push in, and see if it works. Okay, so it looks like it's working. All I have to do now is to set it to the right date. And in this mode right here, with this crown pulled out to the first position instead of all the way out, the second position, I can turn it this way and turn it ahead to, let's go with yesterday's date. Okay. And so what I'm going to do is wait until this second hand gets straight up to the 12 o'clock position, and then I'm going to pull this crown out all the way to that second click. And there we go. So now it's stopped. And I'm going to take a look at this G-Shock that I'm wearing and say, okay, the time is 11:52 a.m. So it's going to be 11:53 a.m. in just a moment. So I'm going to turn this around until it advances to today's date. And that's going to be right there. It's advanced to today's date. And so now I'm going to take it around to 11. Well, let's go past 11:53 and then back it up again to 11:53. Oh, wait, oops, sorry. I'm an hour off here. I do that sometimes. I'll fix that later, but since it looks so good on camera, I'll just leave it as is and pretend I got it right. And okay, just to get it set up just right, I'll wait till 11:54, and as soon as I see that on my G-Shock there, I will just push the crown in, and now it's starting to tick, and looks like everything's lined up and, close enough. I mean, this thing is going to be a second or two off by a month from now, so that's okay. I'm going to now screw down this crown and until it's snug, and that helps with my water resistance. So now this should be 200 meter water resistance with that crown in, and very little disturbance on anything that would affect water resistance here, because that O-ring stayed right where it should be. I know some guys say every time they open a watch, they put some kind of, silicone grease or something on the O-ring. I haven't been doing that, and so far so good. The O-ring looked fine, and I think I'll be fine here. I'm not afraid to get this in the water again. I know there are some people who think that the first time you open the case back, it's never going to be the proper water resistance ever again. And I don't believe that. So I think here I am. I'm all set to go. And I have another Casio Duro with the blue face and the blue bezel that I bought just a few weeks after I bought this one. So I would expect any day now I'll have to do this process over again on my other Duro. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to write down in my spreadsheet where I keep track of all my watches. I will write down today's date as the date that I changed the battery. And then I'll know for sure, 2 or 3 years from now, whenever this battery goes flat, I'll know for sure how long it lasted. And, maybe I'll still be making videos at that point and I can tell you exactly what I did. But just to review today, there's the old battery. Here are the tools I used to do this whole thing. So this, to open up the case back, pretty simple. You can find these for very inexpensive prices. You get little watch tool kits on, Amazon or wherever you find them online. These tweezers, I used the tweezers a couple times to handle the battery, which I probably shouldn't do, because when I do that, see, I'm making contact with both the positive and negative. You could short out a battery that way. So probably I need to invest in some tweezers that are non-metallic for the next time I try this. But it was such a short moment when I was holding them like that. I think we're going to be okay. I used a spring bar tool. I could use this to gently nudge things inside the watch. I tried not to be very forceful with those delicate little components in there, but if I just needed a little something to push with to nudge the battery into place, that worked pretty well there. And I also used this just sewing pin to help me nudge that battery around, either in or out, whatever I was trying to do with it. And everything worked okay with just these simple tools and a little bit of patience and a nice gentle approach to handling the components inside this Casio Duro, and everything looks good. So I'm going to carry on and carry on as normal with this Casio Duro brand new battery. Obviously, if you're at all nervous about doing this procedure on your own, I would recommend go ahead. Go to an actual watch store somewhere in the mall, some place where they do it every day, a jeweler, they can easily change out this battery, and it shouldn't be too much of a problem for them. They'll even do that at Walmart. I hate to say I'm a little skeptical. The person who changes watch batteries at Walmart, maybe they're really good at it. That's certainly possible, but maybe it's the same person who could be doing any job at the store. They could be restocking the grocery aisles. They could be doing all kinds of things, and maybe not a watch expert. So that's why I would recommend, if you want someone else to do it, go to maybe, like I said, a watch store, some jeweler, somebody who really handles watches and that's really their main job. Or if you think that what I showed you is something simple enough that you can do, then I would say, give it a try. Be gentle, be patient, and you should have great results, as I did today. So anyway, that's all I'm going to show you right now. I've got more videos coming up. I got to tell you about these things, right? So stay tuned. I'll get around to it eventually. All the great watch reviews and all the fun discussion of timekeeping right here on the Good Timekeeping Show.